Thank you so much for tuning in to Discover Your Best Self podcast. Today we have the wonderful Miss Kim Roxie. She is the founder of LAMIK Beauty, and I'm so excited to have her here today.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And I just want to start off first I ask all my guests, why did you decide to be a part of the podcast?
Because you asked me to.
Okay.
Because you asked me to, and I love what you're doing and how you're helping us be our best self by sharing other people's stories, and being able to hear those are so tremendously helpful. And so when you asked me about being on here, I was actually honored. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. And so tell us who you are and where you come from.
So I'm Kim Roxie, Kimroxie, and I come from the southwest side of Houston. I come from Houston, Texas, and I come from parents that instilled in me discipline and hard work and perseverance. And my mom and dad were just really instrumental in my growth and development, even when they put me in piano lessons at a young age at 7. And my dad was just trying to get me to learn how to play the piano so I could be his pianist at his church. He was raising his own musician.
Right.
But my mom as well, like my best friend, who now I advocate around breast cancer for. My mom passed away from breast cancer in 2014. But my dad now is, I keep up with him now, me and my sisters.
Okay. How many sisters do you have?
So I have 3 sisters.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. I always wanted sisters. I have 3 brothers. So I was always like, man, I would love to have a sister, but I believe that those sister relationships are so important.
Yeah. And I have brothers too, but definitely the sister relationships are like, I would say this, they're not only just good just to have, but I believe that your sister relationships teach you like life lessons.
Oh my God, yeah.
That maybe it's hard to do with friends and stuff like that, because family kind of has to stay together, right? You don't get to break up blood, right? So, but the lessons that you learn through your sisterhood, I think are really life lessons, and I'm grateful for them.
You think that helped you cultivate your business?
I think it helped me cultivate my business because my business has a lot to do with women, and I work with women. In my business, I'm the founder of LAMIK Beauty, like you said, and so I'm working with women every day.
Right.
So my relationships with my sisters and all the nuances of it and all the things that, we've had to work through or do or whatever,
right.
It shows me, like, because I think my sisters all have different personalities. And so I think that it helps me to know even how to service women better.
Yeah.
So thank you, sisters. Shout out to y'all, because y'all, they help me to know how to handle women.
Absolutely.
And even when women do certain stuff, I'm like, my sister did that before too, or even myself, whatever. And it's like you become more compassionate.
I think that's a good point because sometimes I feel shameful to say this, but it's like I didn't develop those relationships until I got a little bit older because I had brothers, you know what I mean? So it's different with boys. It's like, oh, you say whatever, and then it's like, everybody's good. Yeah. Women is different.
You can't do that with women.
And so I had to learn that because people are like, you're so insensitive. And I'm like, no, I'm not. It's okay, And so it's like I was always one of the guys sometimes, and then I had to get that more compassionate side, especially once I got friends that I became closer with over time, and we're like friends for years. I'm like, wow, I can't really do that, or I have to say certain things. So yeah,
that's so true because even for you, like the friend that deals with you too, has to also have compassion and know that too, right? Have empathy around the fact that she was raised with boys, and maybe she's not gonna be so sensitive and like trying to wipe your tears. And it's like, come on, girl, let's go. We're over it. I think that's a really good point. And when you think about it, I don't think it's anything to be shameful about because we all go through different things at different times in life, even based on the way that we're raised. And I think that kudos to you for even being transparent about that and honest about that that's just the way it is.
So tell me, how did you come up with LAMIK and what does it mean?
So it's funny because I get asked that question a lot, and how I came up with it is a little bit of a mix of things. One is like I said, I grew up playing the piano. My parents put me in that early, and I went to high school, all of that. Got kicked out of high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I got kicked out in my junior year, and had to end up going to alternative school and
was
all
it like
of
grades
that.
Or just like you didn't?
Oh no, I got into altercation.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were over it. Okay.
Yeah. So they were like, we don't want you here. And so I got kicked out in my junior year. My parents fought because they just wanted to send me to juvenile. They just wanted to be done with me.
Okay.
My parents really fought for me and advocated for me to at least to be able to go to alternative school. So I was able to go to the lockdown alternative school, and did that. But there is where I kind of hit like my rock bottom, right? And so I, kind of had my come to Jesus, like what's going on, like, and I was just so embarrassed for my parents and all that kind of stuff. But I went through that. But then, still quite, still was feeling very risky. Yeah. And that's why I kind of tell this story, because it kind of explains why I started my company at 21. So I started my company at a very young age. But you have to know my background to know why I would take those type of risks. Right. So after getting kicked out that first time, I went back to, I was able to go back to my school, like my senior year school. And now it's like, okay, she's learned her lesson, like, like it's time to graduate. Then I overdosed at school.
Right.
So,
oh, wow.
So now I did overdose. I wake up in the hospital. My parents were just happy I woke up. Pills.
Okay.
Yeah. And so my parents were just happy I woke up.
Okay.
But my school was like, yeah, it's time for you to go again. Like, you need to leave. Like, right? But my parents really advocated for me, and by the grace of God, I didn't have to leave, and I ended up graduating from high school.
Man, those parents are something else.
Yeah, parents are great. So I ended up graduating from high school, still applied to my dream college, even though people told me I was not going to be able to go to college because of my record and my background. And I got accepted into Clark Atlanta University, and that's where I went to, and I moved to Atlanta. And despite all of the other things, because, your parents also know who you are, too.
Yes. And
despite, some of the failed attempts I had and some of the mistakes I made, my parents did not stop me from going to Atlanta. And I think that that's really important and something that I like to highlight, because becoming a parent now, sometimes we want to guard our kids so much. And my mom had an incredible patience for her children. And also she had an incredible faith in God that, he's like, God is always still in control.
Yeah.
And so I'm also like still God's child. And so I went off to Atlanta, and that's where I started in working at a makeup counter. And that's how I got introduced to makeup. I did not grow up playing in makeup. And then from there, my senior year, got the idea about LAMIK. Met a chemist from Estee Lauder, started LAMIK at 21, opened up my first store, and that's how it happened. And so,
you said you had your store in Atlanta?
No, opened it up here in Houston.
Okay.
Yeah, I started doing makeup just at a makeup counter in Atlanta.
Okay.
And so as soon as I graduated from college, I came here, opened up my store. Sure. And now I've been in business, and I'm 37 now.
And so how many years has that been for you being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so 16 years.
16 years. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
What does it mean to you to be a businesswoman or entrepreneur?
It just means that I'm solving problems that I see in the world. It means that I'm not asking for permission to act on my brilliance.
Yes.
It means that I am holding myself accountable to what I see happening, and not just being a person that's watching, but being a person that's getting in the game.
And it's funny because the other people that I've had on here who have been who are entrepreneurs, they said the same thing, which was wake up solving problems. People think like, oh, well, I'm going to wake up, make this money. And no, you literally are waking up to solving problems when you have, figuring things out all day.
Definitely.
Yes. And for you, like, what lessons have you learned along the way? Like, give me maybe one or two that have been really prominent for you that have helped you?
Yeah, I think that like my business, actually, I didn't know it, but my business was going to make me a better individual and a better person. It was going to grow my character. Mm-hmm. That's what a business does.
Yeah.
A business grows your character.
Why?
Because when you have situations where you might meet people and your integrity mm-hmm. and you delivering on your word, and that's like building your character.
Yeah.
And that lesson for me has been that we're all in this world together, and how do we make it better for each other? How do we see, injustices in our world and things like that? How do we use business to solve those problems? Like, that's been one of the major lessons for me. If it wasn't for LAMIK, I would not be as a community person as I am, because it pulls that out of you. Right. You can't just see stuff and just turn a blind eye. I mean, you get involved. Mm-hmm. So that the business for me has been a huge lesson of integrity, and has grown my character a lot, and has matured me in a way that I think if I was just able to like hide on a team or something, that I'm not able to do in this position.
Right. So why do people need your products and services, and who are they for? So
you need LAMIK because you need clean makeup. So you need a transparent makeup line.
By the way, yours looks really good.
Thank you. Yeah. Women of color actually spend 80% more on cosmetics, but 75% of beauty products that are marketed, and particularly to women of color, are potentially toxic. 75%. So, but they're buying 80% more makeup.
Yeah.
So when I worked at the makeup counter, even when I was in college, I would notice I would be helping a lot of women of color because of my complexion. So when you see a woman that looks like you, and it's been hard for you to find makeup, and any woman listening that's darker than tan mm-hmm. knows that it's hard to find makeup for your skin tone. And so then when you're trying to find makeup, and then when you look at the ingredients inside the makeup, you go, wait, what is this? Polyisobutane, parabens, talc. You're reading this stuff, and now you're seeing lawsuits come out around these different ingredients. And when I was 16 years ago, I was looking up these ingredients mm-hmm. and thinking to myself, what are we putting on our faces? Mm-hmm. Even before I had the data. Mm-hmm. I just saw it as an issue.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to solve that problem. And so that's why we're here. And then also, we're here to really define what beauty really is. Mm-hmm. I have a motto that says beauty is revealed, not applied.
Yes.
It's not about making yourself look like everybody else or anything like that.
Which I think is a problem, because everybody looks like everyone now.
Yeah, no, like that's, like we definitely don't do that.
Yeah.
It's about individualism.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about contouring your nose to make your nose look like everybody else's nose.
Right.
It's about if you have a full nose, full lips, skinny nose.
Yeah,
it's all good. You don't have to try to make that to look like everybody else's look, and so we don't have that cookie cutter. We don't drive that philosophy or that image. We believe that, again, beauty is revealed, not applied. We're about personal branding. We're about bringing out of you what you have, and letting you realize that, like even LAMIK, the name is an acronym. It stands for love and makeup and kindness. That love and kindness is actually your true makeup. Mm-hmm. And so everything that makes you up, what you know how to do, what you're good at, all of those things are part of your makeup. It's the reason why people say to you, oh, yeah, Shanice, you're so beautiful. Mm-hmm. They're saying that the way you look, and then also who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. So I know that you had the storefront at mm-hmm. first, right? Yeah. And so now and so now you've gone to online.
Yeah.
Why'd you make that transition?
Yeah, well, we're actually kind of duality. Okay, so we're kind of omni-channel now. We're getting into. So I started off with the store, had the store open for 14 years.
Okay.
And then last year was the 14th year, and I decided that I wanted to actually personally develop.
Okay.
When I got into business, again, 21, mm-hmm. took a leap of faith, opened a store. It ended up working. Mm-hmm. That was the thing. Unlike, most businesses fail or whatever the case might be, we worked. And because of that, it kept me going. Mm-hmm. Like I've been running ever since I opened. Mm-hmm. And finally last year, I was like, I see the future of the next decade for LAMIK, and I want to get ready to prepare for that. And I want to go and learn some new things, put some more things in my toolbox. And so I decided to close my store so I could do that. And actually, it's just been an evolvement. So we've been evolving LAMIK. You know, we become a tech-enabled company now, using an actual algorithm on our website to help women find like the best brow kit for them. They use a quiz to do that. When I say algorithm, that's just a quiz. To be able to answer those questions, we put logic inside that quiz, so it'll give you the right recommendation. So now buying makeup online is so much more simple. Because of those kind of tools that we put on our website. Also, too, as a business leader, I wanted to develop. So I've been to forums and conferences from Hong Kong to San Francisco.
How, if you don't mind me asking, how much money do you invest in yourself and your business to grow a year? Would you say?
It changes. It fluctuates so much. You know, over the years, I mean, it's been thousands of dollars.
And why is that important? I mean, because some people are like, why would I spend, you know, $4,000, $2,000 to go to this? I'm not doing that. Like, even if they're not producing or making that kind of money yet.
I mean, I think that it's like you can't put a price on personal development. You know what you need, and you know the areas in which you need improvement or understanding. And I mean, if we look at a purse, for instance, if I'm talking to the ladies, and to the men, they buy these expensive suits or whatever, right?
Shoes, all of it.
All of it. But you know, maybe talking to the ladies, you see a purse. If we go in certain stores, if we see a purse for $2,000, it's no big deal, right? Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna get that purse. You know, if you can just get it right then, or some people save it up, whatever they're doing. You find so much value in a purse that you're holding in your hand that you would do that. But when you talk about like personal development, if a conference or a workshop or a retreat or a boot camp is $2,000, this is your mind. This is your knowledge base. This is like something that can elevate you and accelerate you. It's so worth it.
What are the things that people should do? So now they're, okay, Kim tells me I need to go and develop myself. I've spent this $1,500 for this conference, and what do I do when I get there? Like, what is, you know, I think that a lot of people don't know what to do.
When they get there.
Yeah, when they get there, they're like, okay, I've done this, but I don't even know how to use this or whatever it is. I spent this money, so maybe that's the hesitation of the spending.
I'm gonna tell you, I took a real leap of faith. I went on a women's delegation to Hong Kong last year.
That's so cool.
And we were going to the Asian Financial Forum. Mind you, most of the conversation is in languages dialects I do not know.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there with headsets on, or at some points you're sitting there and just looking at the caption, right?
Right.
The reading the captions of what they're saying. But that doesn't change the energy.
Right.
That's happening in the room.
The people that are there.
Yes.
Yeah.
The energy in the room is we're here to talk about where wealth is, you know, where things are happening, different projects that are being worked on, the vision for the future, you know, all those different things. That doesn't change the energy of that. It doesn't matter what country or place you're in. And so when you talk about what do you do when you get there, I've been in situations where, people are not even speaking the same dialect. But I remember connecting with a businesswoman there who produced food products. And me and her, like, kicked it off, and we can't even understand each other. We had a translator to sit there and like translate. But the energy, we knew what we were understanding. And so I gave her some of my products. She gave me some of her products, and then we talked. And then I was learning from her. I was like, so I'm asking questions. A lot of the play that happens at these type of conferences and stuff like that are happening in the lobby. When you're getting coffee, those kind of places. So when you go to these places, you got to be ready to open up and talk and give, because people want to learn from you just as much as you're there to learn. So sometimes I notice we'll go in environments and we'll be like, oh, I'm just here to learn. And we'll keep our mouth closed because we're only trying to listen. But at the same time, you can listen and learn, but then sometimes people want to hear from you.
Yeah.
I'm in Hong Kong. Actually, I was like a celebrity over there. People just want to take pictures with me.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it.
They probably don't see people who look like you.
Exactly.
They're like, well, who are you? We want to know how'd you even know about this?
And I was with other women. They were laughing. They were like, they want to take pictures with you, but it was because I was dark skinned.
Yeah.
So they hadn't even had that experience with a dark skinned person, Black American person. You know? Yeah. So like even for them, like that was like a big deal. Wow. And so sometimes you don't even know what it is about you that's going to make you stand out.
Exactly.
And then next thing you know, it's like, and then the real.
It almost puts more value on yourself too when you come back. You're like, you know what I mean? Like your self-confidence is like, you know what, I'm good, you know, and it helps you, you know, I'm that thing over here. So you got to experience those new things, new people.
Yes. Yeah. And so instead of getting all into the card shuffling, which the cards are great, especially if you're somewhere where you don't live or what have you, the cards are great, but instead of getting into a card shuffling, make a real connection. Yeah. Make a real connection. Yeah. So then that way, people will want to learn you more, go deeper with you, but definitely be open, having conversations when you're going to these kind of places. Listen in, take notes, because you're going to hear so much, you know, so many things. I definitely believe in taking notes from like when you hear like panels and forums. But I also like to, and this is another thing that we could also do is like LinkedIn and stuff like that. Look those people up. Yeah. Follow up with them. You know how many people don't follow up? So to be honest, if you even follow, I don't even speak to myself. It's been many situations I haven't followed up, right? But like when I have followed up, come to find out, people are like, "Oh, you're the only person who emailed me from the conference."
Right, so crazy.
You know, and you think it was 1,000 people there, or 200, or even 100 people there, but people don't really follow up. People get busy, stuff like that. Yeah. People don't follow up. So it's funny how you can look up these people's names, you see them in a book, even if you can get to meet them in person. One cool incident that happened when I was in Hong Kong, couldn't have planned it, didn't know it was going to happen. I meet Robert Smith. And are you familiar with Robert Smith? Robert Smith is one of our only Black billionaires in the U.S.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he's the guy who went viral after he paid for Morehouse's loan debt, right? But I knew who Robert Smith was before that. Yeah. I knew who Robert Smith was before that. Because I remember going to the National Museum of African American in D.C. And seeing his name up there on that plaque, up there with Oprah. And then I had even knew him before that because I do study, you know, business persons, period, especially business people that have made, like you share here, unique stories, right? And so, but I met him over there. And because there wasn't many people that looked like us over there, I mean, he had a whole, you know, entourage of people, gatekeepers, right? But when he saw me, he was like, "Oh no, let her come up." Yeah, like what you want, right? You know, like kind of thing, like what's going on? Yeah, tell me what you're working on, you know. And that was just so neat that he's right in Austin, Texas, his office and stuff. But it's very hard to get in touch with him, right? Or very hard to see him. I mean, like where is he hanging out? We need to figure that out. But he's hanging out in Hong Kong, right? And so I was there, and to be able to meet him and to talk to him and even his staff and stuff like that. I'm just saying sometimes we have to make the sacrifice to the extent. And I think that what we also must realize is instead of playing it safe, I was just with a group of girls yesterday that were at a juvenile center, a probation center. And I was just talking to younger me's because I've been in that situation. And they were saying, we want to make money and get, you know, and be able to be comfortable. And I was like, hey guys, actually, the attitude y'all have about risk-taking and stuff y'all do, I want you to take that and just use it positive. Right. Because at the end of the day, it's no such thing. The good things happen outside of the comfort zone. Yep. And so I was like, I don't even want y'all to even think that way. I want you to take your same risk-taking ability and your ambition that you have, just use it positive. Right. And watch what happens.
And I love that you said that at the beginning, you were saying it was a financial forum. Yeah. And some people are like, well, I have a beauty company. I need to go to all beauty things. You know what I mean? And so it's like as a business owner, entrepreneur, you have to be well-rounded. And you have to take those risks and challenges to meet other people that, and the purpose is to learn something that you may not know.
Go into rooms that you're intimidated.
Right. Exactly. And so another question I have for you is, you know, why is it important to keep up with the trends? You know, as far as like business trends, you know, you said that you saw that LAMIK needed to be online, their presence needed to be online. Why is that important?
Yeah, it's important because that's the life cycle of your business. Right. If you age out, technology is moving so fast. I mean, you can age out. Trends are coming up so fast, you can age out. Yeah. It's important to be a visionary as well. So think about, you know, I I don't just look out and read papers or articles online and just say, oh, what's the trend?
Yeah.
I also dig deep internally and let it come out within me, because I think that I'm a trendsetter.
Right.
And that if I sit down, concentrate, or see something, or write it down, or see a certain thing, even that I pay attention to kids, I pay attention to people younger than me, I pay attention to history, the way things were, because a lot of times things come back around. You know, I just pay attention. And now we're in an era where we want to know who the founder is. We care more about what the brand is behind it. We want to know what they're supporting. That's what we want to buy. We want to see. But that's a repeat of what things have happened before. You know, I think that, you know, but again, understanding that and thinking about trends. Sometimes for some people, it's like getting away for a little while and writing it down, seeing, you know, but I think, you know, as far as like trends and stuff like that, you have to act on them. You got to be a visionary.
Yeah.
I was doing clean makeup 15 years ago. So that's, so now that clean makeup is like a regular, like way to talk. You can Google clean beauty, all that kind of stuff. It's a real conversation. People are selling.
You like, I've been here.
Yeah. like been thinking about it, but just that also gives you more confidence that as you come up with ideas, you'll act on them, because you see that you're a visionary.
Definitely. And you know, it reminds me that, so I just found out that Toys R Us reopened. And so Houston is one of those places, only New York and Houston. So I was like, oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
But they had to change it. They had to change it, you know. And yes, a lot of toy stores are not relevant anymore, but it's the interaction.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what's going on in these toy stores.
Yeah.
And so they had to change their complete business model to be able to come back out. And I think that that's is parallel. So, you know, you can see that.
Yeah.
What does your business, what is the effect or what is the impact that you want it to have on your daughter or your family?
Yeah. I mean, we brought up that toy store. I had went in there because I had my daughter and we were going by another store, and she's like, I want to go. And I was like, and I went in there, and it's more of an experience now, right? They get to play on the toys. They have a theater room. They have like all these different things. And to the point of like our daughters, and, you know, we share kids together and have playtimes together. They're teaching us a lot. Our kids play on like tablets and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And even like our kids a lot of times are watching other kids. You know, whether they do skits, whether they do this, they're watching sitcoms, but it's not like how we used to watch Tom and Jerry or something.
I thought it was so weird and creepy when I first saw it. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, we're watching, you know, we could just name off some different ones that our kids are watching, but we know they're watching it, but they're watching real people. So what is that telling us about our future?
Right.
What is that telling us? So technology, it's great, but it doesn't mean that we want to lose human connection. So when I think about the future for my kids and stuff like that, I think about what I'm doing now is setting a path, but then at the same time, she's able, I think what we're doing will never really go away as far as like human touch and having a beauty business and all of that, but I think that it'll also evolve.
Right.
And so as she grows up and things like that, she's going to be my number one trendsetter, because she's going to be able to also put me on to what's next, what's happening. Yeah.
So, I think that's a good point too, because it's almost like, well, as a mother, right, and then you have a mom, you become friends the older you get. Yeah. But you got it right now, we're not friends. They want us to be friends, but not yet. Listen. So, how do you balance all those things, or do you balance it? I like to call it like a work-life integration. With you travel a lot. You know, you're talking to a lot of people and networking, all the things. How do you keep all that in check with your daughter and spending time and creating boundaries? Yeah,
I mean, you're talking to a person that's taken over 20 flights this year, you know.
That's a lot.
Yeah, probably more than that. But so I travel a lot and I move around a lot, and I love the work-life integration. It's been like that for me, though, since I was 21.
Right. But when you had your daughter, did things change, or how did that shift? How did you have to?
I think when my daughter came, it just made me better.
Okay.
Yeah. She's making me 100% better. But even before she came, I took care of my godson before. Yeah. He lived with me, but I didn't get any credit for that.
Right.
Because, you know, he wasn't my child. So, biologically. So I wasn't pregnant, so nobody gives you credit for that.
Right.
Women are taking on a lot of responsibilities that they're not getting credit for, and men too.
Oh yeah.
People are taking, and so I guess I just say that to say, like, you have a child, but you never know what's going on before. And when I had my godson with me, I rearranged my whole life to fit his needs. Yeah. And so I think, and and I have a bonus son too, and I make a lot of sacrifices for him as well. Yeah. And so you have different things, but I think for me, I have my husband, and it's a team effort.
Yeah.
And we help. We don't believe in like gender roles or anything like that. Yeah. We're just a team.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important, because I do sometimes hear people on some real traditional gender role stuff, and sometimes if I'm teaching my daughter something that a girl needs to know, then great, I can do that. But as far as what a dad is supposed to do, what a mom is supposed to do, am I supposed to be home and make sure I go pick her up and go make sure I do this and do that? No, I'm not doing that, and I'm not complying to that.
Yeah.
So for me, I just do.
And I like that because it makes sense. I mean, if you're going to be a leader in the work world or, your business, it's like, not that you have to fall back, but it's like, this is who I am, period.
Yeah.
So let's work as a team to do that.
Yeah. That's why I like your word integration, because for me, I actually don't look at it as work, life. Yeah. To be honest, it's been all integrated for so long. That's why I said since I was 21.
Yeah.
I've worked with people, loved on them, went to the kids' baby shop. I mean, it's been like this. Everyone, they're like, people turn to my friends, my family. Like, that's just what it's been. That's the reason why when I did have my daughter, and I was pregnant, I had a community baby shower. Yeah. Where we had women who were living in shelters to come, and I actually forfeited my baby shower for these women. Okay. Because I knew so many people. Yeah. And everybody's like, and I was like, no, let's do it for them. Yeah. That's what it's about for me. It's just not, I'm not.
Yeah. So real quick, how do you feel about collaborations? Yeah. You value them, and what do you think the importance is?
Yeah, and I think it's collaboration all the way around. Again, I'm kind of on a tangent right now, but I mean, like, when you talk about like the kids, one of my mentees that I mentored, now her mom is like my child's tutor. Yeah. It's just collaboration. Yeah. We're all trying to help each other. And we're all just like trying to build a wonderful life together. Right. And that's the part that I love to like encourage people to do, because I feel like sometimes we take too much on ourselves. Right. I've got to do this. I got to make sure my child is great.
You can't.
I got to make sure this happens. I got to make sure my business is great. Nobody's going to do the business like, I hear people talk about, nobody's going to do the business like me. I got to do that. Then, then I got to try to be a wife. Then I got to try to be the best wife. I got to make sure he don't go nowhere. Look, I don't have time.
Right.
Like, look.
I think it's like whatever you can control, and that's what I had to tell myself, because it's like you can't control everything and everyone. So what I can do is control myself and what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I'm not good at anything. Okay, so let's just keep it there.
Right.
If you see that I'm good at something, by God's grace.
Right.
So I'm kind of like, if this collaboration is on every side of your life. And when it comes to building, if you want to build a company, you want to build a successful family, right? You want to build yourself, because that's what I love about your podcast. It's about building yourself. Right. You're going to need other people to even help you do that.
Oh, yeah.
So collaboration, building relationships. Yes. Collaboration is your currency. Like it's that thing that makes it so you can keep paying it forward and paying it forward and paying the way. It's like paving the way for you. Yeah. Is collaboration. Yeah. And I think that in order for you to be a great collaborator, you've got to kind of take on an attitude that it's okay I actually want the other person to win more than what I actually win. And like when I talk to my team members or anybody, I remember like people that work with me from like a partnership standpoint. So like I've had people handle like partnerships and stuff like that for me. And I say, look, when we're working on a partnership, I always want that partner to feel like they got more than me. Yeah. And that's like just one of my rules. Yeah. And however that happens. Right. And so that's really big for me.
Yeah, awesome. Question: are you in sales?
Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why do you feel like having sales skills is important in whatever you do?
Yeah, I mean, if nobody adopts an idea that you have, then you make no change in the world.
Right. So, you got to sell it.
So sales is just adopting an idea, adopting a concept, someone taking that on, taking action in it, using it. It's like you're not getting your purpose across, right? Should we say?
Right.
So sales is just like a part of that. Yeah, it's no big deal.
You made it sound really simple. Yeah,
it is.
You need to come to our sales training. Yes.
Yeah. I think sometimes we take that away from it. Is that all we're trying to do is get someone to adopt an idea?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Great. So last question. What does discover your best self mean to you?
Discover my best self means to me that I am forever becoming.
I like that. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah. Because it's just like discovering. Discovering is like it's a continual thing. So for me, it's just like a steady becoming. And that's the part that I like to highlight as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Is a lot of times people ask you about when you started.
Right.
But ask me about last week.
Yeah.
Like for me to keep going.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the discovering the best self is that, last month I thought I was hitting, to a certain day or something. I'm like, oh, this is getting best, And then as time goes, you're like, actually, that don't mean nothing. We were laughing off record when I was telling you about how my daughter came in the house, and was like, I don't like that kitchen anymore. Like that, I don't like that kitchen anymore.
Yeah.
And she saw a bigger vision for something that she wanted, and that's how it is when discovering your best self.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were all good with what you were like at that time, and then you realize I'm growing out of this shell. Like,
become a butterfly.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't like that no more. I want something. I see more for myself, and that's how I was last year.
Yeah,
it's like I see more for myself, and that's how I was last month.
Right,
I see more for myself. And so I think that it's a steady becoming. So I just want people to actually get used to.
Yes.
Always becoming and always discovering and allowing the fact that instead of having, because you can live in regrets all day. Because I can go, I thought I was doing good then, but look at me now. So I shouldn't have talked to that person. I shouldn't have been over there. And that's not what it's about. It's a steady discovery. And so I think that.
And you need those to push you sometimes, and if we don't go through those, then sometimes we don't have anything that's going to, push us into that corner. And some of us, we excel when we're in that corner. Well, I mean, we got to get out. So you got to figure out a way to do it.
And one big lesson I've learned on discovering your best self is, to your point, is that I activate under pressure.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's almost like if you watch a football game, and there's certain quarterbacks, I mean, they gonna fire in the last quarter or the last seconds.
Yeah.
You're like,
what just happened?
Yeah, where that steam come from, right?
Right.
That's kind of how I am. And so sometimes you have to realize that about yourself. So while others, when I do talks and stuff like that, sometimes for some people they study all day, study on it. For me, it's the last 5 minutes before I'm about to go on stage.
Yeah.
My mind just explodes.
Right.
And then it's like, man, where did you come from with that? And I'm like, God gave it to me then. It's just in certain situations, I apply when pressure's applied. For some reason, it's produced right out of me the good stuff and the best stuff a lot of times, and so I can't take on society's notion that says prepare, and then you're going to be ready.
Yeah.
For me, sometimes it's the pressure that produces.
Yeah.
So you have to know that, and you cannot try to sometimes conform to something that's not you.
Right. Man, that was really good. I appreciate you being so transparent and honest and just forthcoming because, the purpose, like I said, is for us to get to know who you are and, how LAMIK you know, and that's a part of who you are.
Yeah.
And so just giving us that backstory, I didn't know, you know, half of those things because we haven't had this kind of conversation. And so, like I said, this is a front row seat for myself too. So I know that the audience and whoever's listening is going to get a lot out of just hearing this 40 minutes of, you know, it's like you can learn so much from someone's story than, you know, experiencing things yourself.
Yeah.
And so thank you so much
thank
for
you
sharing
for having
that.
me. And thank you for doing the show and
Absolutely.
for being so consistent about it.
And tell us, where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at the Kim Roxie, TheKimRoxie, and then also LAMIK Beauty, LAMIK Beauty, on Instagram and all social platforms. And then also go to our website, drop in your email so you can subscribe and you can know about all the things we're doing. We do pop-ups across the country, and we have some really good things in store for 2020 up to 2025. I mean, we got all these things in mind that we're going to be doing. And I love to collaborate. So if you are listening and you are a woman entrepreneur or a woman in a professional line of work, that you could partner with our company or even partner with myself, because I do a lot of influencer events around different things, connect with me.
Okay.
If you're a woman listening, I actually probably would say connect with me on social, because send me a message, because we probably can aid in building each other up in a lot of ways.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.